It starts with a feeling of pressure. You look at the clock and it is 2 a.m. You drag yourself out of a warm bed, walk across the cold floor, and stand there waiting. You feel the urge, but when you try to go, it is just a weak stream. A dribble. You finish, you go back to bed, you try to fall asleep, and then 2 hours later, at 4 a.m., your eyes snap open, and you have to do it all over again. This is not just annoying. This is a warning sign. It is your body screaming that something inside you is growing out of control. If you are a man over 50, you have probably been told that waking up multiple times a night is just a normal part of aging. You have been told that your prostate just gets bigger as you get older, and there is nothing you can do about it except take medication with terrible side effects or eventually get surgery. I am here to tell you that is a lie. A swollen prostate is not a natural requirement of aging. It is a biological reaction to a hormonal imbalance happening inside your blood right now. And if you ignore it, that pressure on your bladder is only the beginning. But there is good news. There is a specific natural compound found in one common handful of food that has been proven to stop this growth signal. It does not just mask the symptoms. It actually targets the root cause of the swelling. Hello, I am Dr. Stephanie Hill. And in this video, I am going to show you exactly how to shrink your prostate naturally. I am going to reveal the one handful of food you need to eat daily to sleep through the night again. I will explain the science of why your prostate is growing, and most importantly, I will tell you the 3 dangerous foods you are probably eating for dinner that are acting like fertilizer for that growth. By the end of this video, you will have a complete protocol to turn off the faucet, empty your bladder completely, and finally get the deep, restorative sleep you have been missing for years. Let's get straight to the truth. To understand the solution, you first have to understand the mechanic of the problem. Why does the prostate grow? Imagine your prostate is a small walnut sitting at the base of your bladder. The tube that carries urine, the urethra, runs right through the center of that walnut. When you are young, the walnut is small and soft, and the tube is wide open. But as you age, that walnut starts to grow. It turns from the size of a walnut into the size of a lemon or even a baseball. As it expands, it squeezes that tube shut. That is why you have to strain to pee. That is why you feel like you never fully empty your bladder. Because you are literally trying to push fluid through a pinch straw. But why does it grow? This is where modern medicine often gets it wrong. They treat the size, but they ignore the fuel. The fuel for your prostate growth is a hormone called DHT. You have heard of testosterone. Testosterone is good. It makes you strong, gives you energy, and keeps your mind sharp. But in many men, as they age, an enzyme in the body starts converting that healthy testosterone into a super potent, aggressive hormone called dihydrotestosterone, or DHT. Think of DHT as a growth switch. When DHT levels are high in the prostate tissue, it tells the cells to multiply rapidly. It is like holding down the gas pedal on a car. Your body is constantly shouting grow, grow, grow. So, the medication your doctor gives you is usually designed to block that conversion. But those drugs often come with devastating side effects like brain fog, fatigue, and complete loss of libido. What if you could block that DHT naturally using food chemistry? This brings us to the one handful I promised you. The most powerful natural weapon against a swollen prostate is the humble pumpkin seed. But before you run to the grocery store, you need to listen carefully because 90% of the pumpkin seeds sold in stores are dead. They are roasted, salted, and processed, which destroys the very oil you need. You need raw, green pumpkin seeds, also known as pepitas. Why are these seeds so powerful? It comes down to a compound called beta-sitosterol. Beta-sitosterol is a plant sterol that has a structure very similar to cholesterol. When you consume it in high enough quantities, it does something miraculous. It inhibits the enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. That is the enzyme responsible for turning your good testosterone into the bad DHT. By eating a handful of raw pumpkin seeds, you are essentially putting a governor on that engine. You are slowing down the conversion. You are taking your foot off the gas pedal. A study published in nutrition journals showed that men who consumed pumpkin seed oil daily saw a significant reduction in symptoms and an improvement in urine flow within just 3 months. But here is the secret that most videos won't tell you. Pumpkin seeds alone might not be enough if your inflammation is too high. You need to activate them. The prostate is highly sensitive to inflammation and insulin. If you are eating that handful of seeds, but you are also eating high-sugar foods or refined carbohydrates, you are fighting a losing battle. You see, there is a second trigger for prostate growth that nobody talks about. It is insulin. When you have high insulin levels from eating bread, pasta, sugar, or snacking frequently, that insulin stimulates a growth factor called IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor. This acts just like fertilizer. So if DHT is the gas pedal, insulin is the turbo boost. If you want to shrink your prostate, you have to cut the fuel. This means you need to do two things. First, eat the pumpkin seeds to block the DHT. Second, stop eating 3 hours before bed to lower your insulin. Now, I want to give you the ultimate prostate shrinking protocol. This is the combination I recommend to my clients who want to avoid surgery. It involves the pumpkin seeds, but it combines them with 2 other powerhouse ingredients for a synergistic effect. The first partner for the pumpkin seeds is lycopene, but not just any lycopene. You need cooked tomatoes. Research has shown that lycopene, the red pigment in tomatoes, concentrates in the prostate tissue better than almost anywhere else in the body. It acts as a powerful antioxidant that reduces the swelling and inflammation. But here's the trick. You cannot get enough lycopene from raw tomatoes. The cell walls are too tough. You need to cook them. Tomato paste, tomato sauce, or stewed tomatoes release the lycopene so your body can absorb it. So, imagine a dinner where you have a tomato-based sauce and you sprinkle your raw pumpkin seeds on a salad on the side. That is medicine. The second partner is green tea. Green tea contains a compound called EGCG. This is a catechin that has been shown to induce programmed cell death in fast-growing cells. Remember, your prostate is growing because the cells are forgetting to die. They just keep multiplying. EGCG reminds them that their life cycle is over. It helps prune the tree, so to speak. So here is your daily plan. Every morning, or as a midday snack, I want you to eat exactly 1 ounce or a small handful of raw, organic pumpkin seeds. Do not roast them. If you hate the taste, grind them up and put them in a smoothie. For dinner, try to incorporate cooked tomatoes at least 3 times a week. And swap your second cup of coffee for a cup of high-quality green tea. But I have to warn you about the prostate destroyers. There are things you might be doing right now that are undoing all this hard work. The biggest enemy of the prostate is dairy. I know, we have been told milk is good for bones. But modern commercial dairy is full of hormones. Cows are often milked while they are pregnant, meaning the milk is rich in estrogens and growth hormones meant to grow a baby calf into a distinct huge animal. When you drink that milk or eat that cheese, you are introducing those growth signals directly into your body. For a man with a sensitive, growing prostate, dairy is like pouring gasoline on a fire. If you are serious about sleeping through the night, I challenge you to cut out dairy for just 2 weeks. No milk, no cheese, no ice cream. Replace it with almond milk or coconut milk. The reduction in inflammation is often immediate. Another destroyer is vegetable oil. Corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil. These are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which are pro-inflammatory. A swollen prostate is an inflamed prostate. If you cook your healthy food in inflammatory oil, you are defeating the purpose. Switch to extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil. Now, let's talk about the fluid trap. Many men think I wake up to pee, so I should stop drinking water. They dehydrate themselves. This is a mistake. When your urine is concentrated, it is more acidic and irritating to the bladder lining. This irritation makes you feel like you need to go even when the bladder isn't full. You need to drink water, but you need to time it right. Hydrate early in the day. Drink the majority of your water before 4 p.m. As you get closer to the evening, taper it off. And stop all fluids 3 hours before bed. This gives your kidneys time to process the fluid and get it into your bladder before you sleep, so you can empty it one last time before hitting the pillow. Let's put this all together into a picture of what your life could look like 30 days from now. Imagine going to bed at 10 p.m. You close your eyes. The next time you open them, the sun is coming through the window. It is 6 or 7 a.m. You realize you didn't wake up. You didn't struggle out of bed in the dark. You didn't stand there waiting for a stream that wouldn't come. You just slept. Your energy is back because you're actually getting REM sleep. Your mood is better. The anxiety of where is the closest bathroom starts to fade away. This is possible. Your body knows how to heal. It just needs you to stop feeding the problem with insulin and inflammation and start feeding the solution with the nutrients found in that handful of seeds. Zinc, beta-sitosterol, magnesium. These are the tools your body is waiting for. Do not accept the idea that you are just getting old and falling apart. That is a passive mindset. You have control over your biology. Start with the pumpkin seeds today. Just one handful. It is a small change, but the compound effect over weeks and months is powerful. If you found this information helpful, you need to understand that prostate health is closely linked to your heart health. The same plaque that clogs arteries can restrict blood flow to the pelvic area, making these problems even worse. I have a dedicated video on how to clean out your arteries using a specific meal plan that works in harmony with what we discussed today. You do not want to fix one part of your body while neglecting the engine that powers it all. Click on the video on your screen right now to learn about the artery clearing protocol that complements this prostate advice perfectly. I am Dr. Stephanie Hill, and I will see you there.